Hey, Patrick. Hello.
Hello.
Councilor Moore, hello. Hey, Dean. Okay, at this time, I would like to call the February 18th, 2021 regular meeting of the Common Council to order at 5 p.m. Would you all please rise and join me with the pledge? I'll point my flag. There we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Carlin, would you please conduct the roll call?
Mayor Rosenquist,
Here.
Councilor Canales,
Here.
Councilor Kelly,
Here.
Councilor Gibbs,
Here.
Councilor Talon,
Here.
Councilor McFarland,
I am here.
Councilor Moore,
Here.
All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the February 4th, 2021 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I will now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Canales. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I will now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please raise your hand on the Zoom chat to be acknowledged. When called upon, we ask that you please state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will be given 5 minutes to address the council.
I am bringing forward Ira.
One person who has their hand raised. Hello, Ira, you are now on the podium, I guess.
Okay, thank you. I want to make a few comments regarding a resolution to close the finance window for the payment of associated utility bills. It's my belief that having the customer service staff performing these simple, repetitive transactions is not a cost-effective use of both their skill and their time. And last year, as you will recall, City Hall was closed, and for a number of months, utility bills were paid, but nobody was allowed into the building. That caused us to begin to think about, and I had several conversations with the city chamberlain about potential alternatives to just in-person payment and the drop box. And we talked a lot about direct debit and Hicksville payments. But it struck me that although the direct debit and has been out there for quite some time, there's been very little marketing of that direct debit to people. And we had a very few individuals. I think that increased somewhat over the summer. I want to state that I have no problem with the resolution that you're about to pass. I think it's a good idea. I assumed it would take a lot of marketing and a long period of time before customers would adopt new processes. And there was also not an adequate plan to address the unbanked population that was in the city. A lot of work remained to address the challenges with implementation of this resolution. And I was pleased to hear you, Mayor, that you indicated in your remarks at the subcommittee that opening in-person transactions does not mean that we won't continue to market and examine new approaches to utility bill payment. Perhaps even, I know you didn't say this, but perhaps even the payment of city taxes could be incorporated into that. And there really is no one best way, in my opinion, to increase citizen satisfaction, but also reduce costs in any city program. Change in the utility bill payment, I think, was a beginning effort to meet the very needs of Plattsburgh's customers. You got in person, the drop box, mail, yeah, contract service. We didn't have self-service kiosks, but that's what I was beginning to look at. And online payments all have constituencies in this community. If you speak to college students that have utility bills, they all want online or direct debit. I'd encourage you as you continue down this path with us to explore developing both a cost-effective approach to bill payment and an approach that is responsive to the various constituencies in the city. Thanks.
Thank you, Ira. Are there any other attendees that would like to address the council? Seeing none at this point, we will now go to committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a councilor, and I will call on the chairperson of each standing committee, starting with City Operations Councilor McFarland.
Yes, we had our meeting a week ago, well, almost 2 weeks ago now, and it was very productive. We talked about a number of things. You can check it out on YouTube. One of the things we did talk about was what Ira just talked about, the opening and closing of the finance desk. And I thank Ira for providing us with comments on that. And we discussed a little bit of the new IT contract and things of that nature, but that's all I have for today.
City Infrastructure Councilor Moore.
I didn't have anything specific to report. I'm assuming that the odor problem has been resolved, at least temporarily. Anyone have an answer to that?
Are you referring to the concerns
The
at
West End?
Lake Country Village?
No, the West End. Remember they had an odor problem. It was reported in the paper.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, at this point we have had very little increase in complaints or concerns, and as reported by John Ruff, that those problems have been working themselves through the system. The testing per the health department requirements have come back that the water is safe. More than anything, it's just a nuance of the current odor. In conjunction with his update is the flush schedule that will need to happen come early spring in the thaw, which we're currently working on that schedule.
Okay, thank you. I had a lot of questions on that. That's why I brought that up. That's all I had to report.
Thank you. Public Safety, Councilor Gibbs.
Yes, we had our we had our meeting this week, and the Public Safety Citizens Review Panel did their presentation, and it was open to the whole council, questions from anybody on council, and then there was also I opened up a public comment period on that agenda in case people had questions. It's been distributed to everybody in the council. And we are going to be working on what is going to be adopted, what a resolution will look like, what is still a work in progress, and those kinds of things in order to meet the deadline for the division of budget. We have got a couple of items on the agenda tonight that we forwarded. We have 3 items that are coming out of the Public Safety Committee. Everybody has seen those already. And one very important resolution is the passage of the fee schedule for our rental registry. And so I'm glad to see that the Tenant Landlord Committee came up with a recommendation in conjunction with Department Head Supervisor McMahon. So thank you for that. And that's all the updates I have.
Thank you, Councilor Gibbs. And for Finance and Economic Development, we had our meeting on the 11th, and we do have a number of items that are on tonight's agenda per that meeting, including assessment extension. There's a contract to continue window replacement, and a number of other construction projects. And I do want to comment, normally, look, at the end of the day, everybody on the council's elected official, responding to public comment, look, it's entirely up to you to do responsibly in an organized and responsible way in this meeting. But I do want to say to Ira that I 100% agree with you. There are certain concerns that we do need to address in the overall operation of every department. And, certainly the concern was brought to my attention about operating that window, even though we had passed resolution. I say we as the city had passed resolution last year to close the window, but I agree that there are a number of opportunities that we can leverage to increase the marketing and the availability of the different number of payment options that we have. In addition to the Finance and Economic Development report, I will note that the traffic order for city planner establishing traffic zone designation number 971 is on tonight it's not for consideration, it's for information for the council. And as noted by Councilor, I'll come back to that piece. Okay, that's all of my report at this point. Now we will move on to liaison reports. Plattsburgh Public Library, Councilor McFarland.
Yes, I have no updates at this time. I will note that the next library board meeting is this Tuesday, or this coming Tuesday. So I should have an update next week.
Great, thank you. Plattsburgh Municipal Lighting Department, Councilor Kelly.
No updates, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sneller, do you have any staff reports?
Yes, Mayor, would anticipate the need for an executive session towards the end of this meeting to discuss a matter of pending litigation.
Thank you. And for special committee reports, as mentioned by Councilor Gibbs, the Public Safety Review Panel that report is being entered into the official minutes of this meeting, as well as the official minutes of the Public Safety Committee meeting that we just had. Per the executive order, another committee will be formed to review those recommendations and to create a plan both for public review and for council approval. That again, I have certainly expressed my concern or nervousness, I should say, over the timeline. We have a very short timeline to form that new committee to review those recommendations and put together that plan for both public review and council approval. I will be reaching out to members on this board, as well as members of the public, members in our police department, and members of public safety in the county to participate in that process. In addition to that report, a little bit of a plug, but I do want to say that part of the comprehensive master plan committee is hosting a series of public events, public listening sessions and feedback sessions for the community on March 1st and March 2nd. That information is both on the website as well as the City of Plattsburgh's Facebook page. I will make sure that the media also has access to that and can help share to get more public participation in those sessions. The comprehensive master plan is an opportunity for us to pretty much outline what development is going to look like, development and growth is going to look like in our city over the next 10, 15, 20 years. And it's 100% crucial and very, very personally important to me that people in our community have access to be able to shape that and to form the thinking around what our community is going to look like and how it's going to grow. So I do personally invite everybody to participate on one or more of those sessions. All right, I will now entertain a motion to approve the payrolls of the various city departments for the weeks ending February 17th, 2021 in the amount of $55,203.02.
Who would make that motion?
Motion by Councilor Moore, second by Councilor Kelly. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor McFarland, Counselor Moore,
yes,
Carried. I will now entertain a motion to approve the bills audited by the Common Council for the weeks ending February 19th, 2021 in the amount of $692,811.70.
So moved.
Motion by Counselor Kelly, second by Counselor Gibbs. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor McFarland,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
yes,
Carried. Before voting on the following resolutions, I will note that the resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees and department heads, and the actions that we're taking on them tonight, in large part, is due to the recommendation of those committees. Ms. Carlin, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
authorizing the mayor to sign various fishing tournament agreements.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Kelly. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing the assessor to grant limited income exemptions pursuant to New York State Real Property Tax Law, Section 459-C and Section 467 to seniors and individuals with disabilities on the 2021 assessment roll pursuant to the COVID-19 Emergency Eviction and Foreclosure Prevention Act of 2020.
Motion by Counselor Moore, second by Counselor Kelly. Discussion.
I just had one question on this. What is the income level? Is it still, it used to be around $32,000. Is that still the same number or has that gone up?
Dean, can you answer that?
Sorry, offhand, I don't know. Rich may know offhand. We could research it, but offhand, I don't know.
And it's an extension of the same, it's the extension of the same exemption as it was last year, so that hasn't changed. But unfortunately, I don't know what that exemption was from last year.
It's pretty low. I don't think it's been changed in many years. I was just wondering.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor McFarland,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes,
approving agreement for architectural and engineering design services from AEDA PC related to the City Hall windows replacement project.
Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Canales. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approving a professional service agreement with Robert M. Sutherland PC to provide subdivision services for Clinton County tax parcels 207.20-1-1 and 207.20-1-2.31.
Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Canales. Discussion.
Yes, remind me, this is to the harbor side, splitting it into 3 parcels?
Correct. This is the subdivision work to be done at Harborside.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approval of change order number 2, Saranac River Trail Phase 2 construction project.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Gibbs. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, what was I'm trying to remember what the change order was. I remember
Yeah, the
discussing.
change order is not based on the construction size or cost of the project. There was an accounting change that needed to be made and passed via resolution. But again, there's no changes to the cost scope or process timeline or anything like that. It was really just an administrative change.
Yes, I remember now. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approving parking lot management and enforcement supplemental agreement with Clinton County.
Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Canales. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing retainer agreement with Stafford, Owens, Pillar, Murnane, Kelleher, and Trombley PLLC.
Motion
Yes,
by,
oh, sorry.
yes, yep. Councilor McFarland, just pause on that for a moment. We'll note your abstention.
Okay.
Thank you. Motion by Councilor Canales, second by Councilor Kelly. Discussion.
And I'll just put on the record that I'm recusing myself from this item.
Yeah. Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
No.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor McFarland recuses himself, Counselor Moore,
yes,
Carried.
resolution rescinding September 10th, 2020 resolution to close the City of Plattsburgh finance window.
Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor McFarland. Discussion.
Yeah, I'll just put out there, I agree with everything Ira said. But I also agree that we need to do this, if we're going to close the finance window, it needs to be done slowly. Certainly I've gotten, and we've discussed this over many months since September. And there's a big non-banked population here, and I think it's wise to keep it open for now. But I do want to promote other ways to paying the utility bills.
Yeah, I agree. I initially voted yes on this resolution when it came up, and I guess I didn't understand or realize how many people we have in the city who don't have the ability to pay their bills online. They don't have internet access, they don't have cell phones, they don't have personal computers. So I agree, it needs to be phased in, and the ability to pay online needs to be more widely encouraged, advertised. But I received quite a few objections by email to constituents who insisted that this be undone. So I'm glad we're going to be doing this.
One thing that would make me feel more comfortable about it is if we could have monthly reports on how many additional people have signed up for online payment. If we could see that every month, we could know how much our efforts to move people to online payments is being effective. Could we do something like that, Mayor Rosenquist?
Yeah, I don't foresee a reason not to, especially if we are going to take a more I want to say aggressive approach in marketing that level of service. I think that what would benefit just the operation of that department, and just any department, but the operation specifically to the finance department is really taking a look at how many different methods there are to pay that bill, as former Councilor Barbell had noted, and then start to really focus our efforts on marketing the paperless bill, as well as the online bill pay or auto pay options that are available. Those are easy options to sign up for and easy options to use. And as we start to increase those, as we said in the committee, and as we'll say now, as those start to increase in usage, we can then look at, closing down some of the other methods of payment.
think it's going to take some time. The auto pay has increased from 470 at the end of last March to 1,048 as of today. So it's up, about 578, just over double. We still have about 12,500 accounts to convert. So it's going to take some time. The e-bills have increased from 1,020 at the end of last March to 1,232 at this point. And our people talk to people at the counter, they talk to people on the phone, they talk to people through email. They encourage every customer they talk to sign up for these, and we've been pushing them hard. The only thing we haven't done, besides putting notices on the bills and putting notices on the city's website for online bill paying, is that we haven't, physically offered some kind of incentive like debit cards or something like that to encourage people to sign up. So I don't know what else you want to do with marketing it. It could be newspaper ads, or I guess it could be announcements in the news or something like that. But I think it's a generational thing that's going to take time for it to increase.
Any further discussion?
I just want to say that I'm glad that we're voting on this tonight, especially because we're going to be keeping the finance box, and I know that that is very convenient for a lot of people. Say you work until 4 o'clock, you come downtown and pay your bill. You can just drop it right in that drop box. I've been using it for the past 3 years, so I'm just going to be happy that it's still going to be there.
The important thing there is also that anything dropped in that box today will be posted as of today's date tomorrow morning. So it's paid on time because we recognize the drop date in the box as well as postmark dates for paying bills on time.
I believe something that could help with our adoption rate for online pay as well is moving forward with potentially doing QR code payments via smartphones. But another thing too is the user ability and the user interface that we currently have on our website. It's due for a revamp. And with that revamp, it'll drive adoption rates of online pay. I know that I personally have gone to pay the bill online, and when I've gone to pay it, if you don't put your number in the exact format because of how the code is done, your payment's going to get rejected, which has been frustrating. And a few other constituents have explained that to me as well, which is why a lot of people just go and revert back to the Dropbox or just the face-to-face interaction. But this is something that can be easily fixed to ensure a good adoption rate moving forward.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried.
Adoption of the rental registry program fee as required by local law P-3 of 2020.
Motion by Councillor Moore, second by Councillor Gibbs. Discussion.
Yes, am I reading this right? You could either do it $100 for a 3-year license or pay $40 each year per unit? Is that
For 3 years, correct.
Okay.
So we had originally anticipated this would go into effect in April. Is that still our timeline that we're working with?
For the effective date of the local law, yeah.
And Mr. Mayor, oh, sorry.
And I just want to verify, because we did talk about this the night of the public safety meeting, but want to reiterate this again tonight. So I see that Joe is part of our call tonight, that we have someone already in place to start that process. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. We've got a current housing code inspector who's ready to tackle that.
And then we have another one that you hired in his training to do the other work, the other building inspector type work. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. It's going to take him better part of a year to get certified through the state.
Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Sure.
And Mr. Mayor, I remember when we, earlier this year, when we reinitiated the landlord-tenant committee, you mentioned that it was basically just to do this, make a recommendation on this fee. So does that mean after tonight, the landlord-tenant committee is done?
Yes, they, yeah, per the reinitialization or the upping of that committee, after having recognized that it had sunset after 30 days or 3 months after the original resolution, the committee was reinitialized to operate for 30 days to resolve just this one question, which was to define the potential of the fee. The committee was made up of a number of tenants, 2 landlords, and a couple of members of Joe's office, and Councilor Moore and Councilor Kelly, who I feel they did thorough work. I did watch their meetings, which were streamed live on YouTube, and felt like the conversation was productive. It was fair. That I think everybody came to the determination that the fee was fair, and that it would be a process of working through the procedure in a way that would not burden too many people over the time that the program gets ramped up. I think that Joe worked with Richard sometime back to understand what the actual fee structure would be, and presented that fee structure in a way that was fairly flexible for everybody to understand and to appreciate that the city of Plattsburgh's not looking to make money off of the fee. It's just to administer the rental registry.
One other facet of this for the availability of people that Councilor Gibbs was asking about is Joe does have the capacity in the budget to increase the rest of his staff to 40 hours a week. I don't know if he's made that change yet, but not to steal his thunder, Joe.
Yeah, that's right.
Any further discussion?
I just wanted to comment that this recommendation was approved by the committee unanimously, so everyone had plenty of input, and it was conducted very businesslike manner.
I do want to say one last thing based on Councilor McFarland's comment about the committee being dissolved at this point, is that there have been a number of concerns that were addressed by that committee, valid concerns that we need to address as a community of renters that really do impact not only the renters in our community, but also a number of the landlords and property owners in our community. Without losing sight of those concerns, I will likely approach some members of that committee to discuss some type of report or some type of analysis on those issues, and then figure out, what's the best way to tackle them or to address them moving forward. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor McFarland?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Approving budget adjustment, general fund, police motor vehicles.
Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Canales. Discussion.
Yeah, so I didn't watch the Public Safety Committee meeting, but it seems that this is just taking money from insurance for a destroyed vehicle and using it to buy new police cars. Is that correct?
Correct. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor McFarland,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
approving budget adjustment fire department capital outlay.
Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Canales. Discussion.
Oh, yeah, could I just have a brief explanation of what this resolution is? I mean, I'm reading.
Yeah, sure. So it was brought to my attention that there was an opportunity to purchase some power stretchers for the fire department. And as you know, well, maybe you don't know, but a lot of the work that our fire and EMS department does is go to calls, put people on stretchers, lift stretchers manually. A lot of the stretchers that we do have in our fire department are manual stretchers, so they have to lift people up and down off the ground. And there's 3 pieces of equipment involved here, 3 power stretchers that Chief Lawless found that was being offloaded by a local municipality. And the offer here is to purchase those power stretchers for the fire department.
And how exactly is it being paid for? It's I see it's being taken from the fire fees for service.
Yeah, so the assumption right now is that there's a number of services that will not be paid for throughout the year, just not needing them. And so there's a shift in funds from the fees for service to capital.
Well, it sounds like a good idea. And how are these power stretchers different? I mean, imagine they're easier and less than men.
I will let Chief Lawless discuss that because I quite frankly have no idea.
So the power stretchers run off of a battery system, and they're a power assist. All you do is push a button and they raise and lower. So it takes a significant load off of our personnel, time under tension with muscle. So we want to be able to get them better so that we aren't putting them under load. The more times that we put them under load, awkward positions, the more opportunities that we can have for injuries to patients and to our staff.
So it sounds like they're a lot safer for patients and a lot less onerous on staff.
Yes, they are.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor McFarland,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Carried. Are there any additional resolutions for initial consideration? And is there any new business to come before this council tonight?
Yes, I have a couple of things I wanted to bring up. I had a conversation last night with Wendell Hughes, who is on the county legislature. And I would like to, and I don't know how the rest of the council feels about this, but I would like a section on our agenda include an invitation from our county legislators to participate in council meetings and report to the city what is happening. So I would like to see that happen, where our county legislators are invited to the meetings and asked to report out on what's happening there. I don't know if the rest of the council, what they think about that. And second of all, I would like to bring up something that has been brought up before. We all received an email from a constituent about resolution language only including titles and not, a full language resolution. And we've brought that up before. And I really would like to see that included on the agendas. I understand all the supporting documentation is in there. We all know that. But I have brought this up before, and I would like to just bring it up again. So.
I certainly like that idea with the county legislators. That's interesting, and I know Mayor Rosenquist, when he was a county legislator, came to a few council meetings, and it was nice to have those updates. So I think that's a very interesting idea. As far as the resolution goes, I'm fine with that too. If I remember correctly, I didn't read this email that you're talking about from the constituent, to tell you the truth. I don't think, but I'm fine I'm fine with that. If I remember, Mayor, the resolution language is provided with the resolution as well, if I remember, to the public. I know I'm not privy to, or I don't get my agendas from the same way as the public goes, but I have the agenda and then there's the resolution language in a separate document, correct?
Yeah, so all of the, as per the agenda is sent out with the titles of the resolution as well on the agenda, along with a packet of resolutions with the full title. That packet is sent to council, to media. Both packets, by the way, both packets are sent to council, to media, posted on the website, as well as included in the description of this meeting being streamed live on YouTube.
And so Elizabeth, the email, was it a concern that they weren't seeing the resolution language, or that they would prefer it on one document, or was it a concern that Beth wasn't reading the resolutions?
No, just that the agendas don't include the full language of the resolution, only the titles. And we've had this discussion before, so I thought I would bring that up for floor discussion. Take the temperature of the council and see what they think. So.
No, I agree with that, Councilor Gibbs, but the portion of the language that I'd like to see is in a manner that the constituents can actually understand the language that is outlined in the resolutions without legalese jargon, essentially. We want to make it to where, and we've discussed this before, make it to where someone in third grade can read the resolution and understand it, so to speak. So if we're going to go in regard to language, I think that would be a good way to do that. But as far as the current construct of just reading the resolution, I'm fine with how that currently is.
So wait, that's a completely different thing. One is to have the resolution language, and my understanding is you're basically saying like a layman's term sort of summary description Absolutely. Of what the resolution is doing.
Correct.
That's an interesting thought. The problem I would see with that is I think that would just probably be a fair amount of work for Beth to do. I assume that would be Beth doing that, but or someone else to do. But that's an interesting thought.
Okay, is there any new business to come before the council? All right, I will now entertain a motion to go enter executive session.
So to clarify, it's for pending litigation, and it involves the city of Plattsburgh, and I'm not going to read all the names, but L. David Boyce is the first name on the pleading.
So, Mayor, I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Second by
David Boyce.
Councilor Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are now in executive session. For those folks watching, we are going to exit this line as we normally do for executive session. It's not expected that we are going to take any action out of executive session, but when we return, we'll make a motion to exit and then take any further action. All right, folks. As assumed, there is not going to be any action taken out of the executive session, and I will entertain a motion to exit executive session.
So
By Councilor Canales, second by Councilor McFarland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Seeing no new business, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Councilor McFarland, second by Councilor Gibbs. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you, folks. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us tonight as well. And just would just like to remind people March 1st and March 2nd for the comprehensive master plan community events. I got to use the platform to plug it. So